What's up, guys? It's your favorite QB coach, and give me 6 months of your time and I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. In this particular video, we're going to actually talk you through exactly how to fix your golf swing. So if you're trying to change the look of your golf swing and you're trying to make it look pretty like a PGA Tour player, well, this is the video for you. Let's go do this thing. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is the Kiwi Coach 6-month program, but more on that later. So the overwhelming comment we get from all of our clients when they take lessons from us is, I've taken so many lessons from so many other different golf instructors and I've never gotten the same results that I've gotten in a short period of time with yourself. So what I want to do in this video is I want to take some time and talk about really our step-by-step process that we take in lessons to be able to change our clients' golf swing so drastically. So let's go ahead and get into the first point. So the first concept I want to talk about is going to be called the domino effect. The domino effect is very simple, and it's if I can change one or two things in your golf swing, can it change a lot of other things in your golf swing? Because one of the things that we like to do with our clients is how can we take the shortest route possible to completely changing your golf swing? And to do that, we have to use the domino effect. So let's take some time and talk you through really what are the steps of the domino effect. What do you need to follow? So there's two main points about the domino effect. And the first part is the closer you are to setup when you're making your swing changes, the more likely other things in your golf swing are going to be changing. Which means if you see something like your follow through and you have this chicken wing follow through, well, trying to fix that first might not be the best approach, and you're not going to necessarily get that domino effect. Maybe changing something in the backswing or the takeaway or position 3 or position 4. Changing something earlier in the golf swing tends to have more of a domino effect than trying to change something later in the golf swing, and that's just been proven throughout all the lessons that I've given. The second point to the domino effect is really what motions and positions that we try to change. And specifically, whenever we try to change the hand path movement and the club shaft movement, that tends to have the most domino effect compared to maybe changing something with the body. And we find this to be the case almost all the time with our clients. Whenever we can change the way the hand path moves, whenever we can change the club shaft and the way that moves, a lot of the body movements that you guys don't want to have and that you guys are so interested in changing tend to start changing themselves almost completely. So to give you guys an actual example of the domino effect in effect, let me talk about a recent lesson we had with a client. So this client was struggling with moving the hands too far out towards the golf ball, their club shaft was too steep, and then ultimately from there they were hitting really big pulls off to the left, or if they really left the face open, it'd be like a weak push slice off to the right. So they wanted to fix obviously those hand path moving out towards the golf ball. Now what we found was at setup they were standing too far away from the golf ball, and then because of that what would happen is as they took the club back, they would take the club way inside, they would drop their left shoulder, and then at the top of the golf swing their upper body was really close to the golf ball, their hands were really far behind them. So because of that they would actually move away from the golf ball in transition and then move the hands out towards the golf ball. So what we ended up doing was we changed the setup first, got them staying a lot closer to the golf ball and a lot taller at setup. And then from there, we worked on a hand path and club shaft movement that looked a little bit like this. Trying to move the hands really far away from the body, and then as we got up to the top, trying to flatten the club shaft like crazy. What ended up happening was because we got them standing closer to the golf ball and taller, changed the look of the hand path and club shaft, next thing you know, the hand path in transition automatically started to change. So as you can see, the 2 points that we talked about with the domino effect, for the most part, is almost always going to work. Now, there's some of you guys out there that might change things earlier in your golf swing and it won't change everything in your golf swing. And that's most likely because you have a long history of doing those things. But for most of you guys out there, I promise you, if you take this approach, the domino effect, it's one of the key points that we use in our step-by-step process in the lesson to change our client swing so drastically. Now, the next step that we do in our lessons is called our implementation process, and it's very simple. A lot of you guys out there hear something or you see this drill that you want to try on YouTube and you do it at full speed right off the bat. The issue with that is if you try to do something at full speed right off the bat, your body is moving so fast that it can't react to the new motion. It doesn't have time to process the new motion. So what you're doing is you might be doing a different motion that you typically do, but you're training an incorrect motion, which what's the point in training an incorrect motion? It'd be like working out at the gym, doing the incorrect form when you're lifting, and you're just gonna be growing the wrong types of muscles that you're trying to grow. It's the same thing in the golf swing. So what we like to do is Let's take it from a slow speed to a fast speed in a very structured process, which is our implementation process. So why is our implementation process so powerful? Well, simply put, we give you clear, specific checkpoints to start. which means if we're talking about position 2 and the hand positioning, we tell you your hands can be within this range. And then we also show you exactly how to film the golf swing and then how to analyze it and what apps to use. That's one of the major points and why our implementation process is so powerful. You can actually check for the points. The next point is we have clear goals that need to be accomplished before you go from the slow speed to the fast speed, which means we have what's called an initial test. You have to get a certain score before you can start to move onto each level. And if you can get that certain score, it's been proven that you can get to the next level and probably be successful in the next level. So there's a clear goal for each level, and that's really, really important for our implementation process. Last but not least, when it comes to our implementation process, we have very clear specific percentages of golf balls that should be allocated towards each level of the implementation process. Now that goes into our structure practice guide, which we'll get to a little bit later on this video, but that pretty much is the main reason why our implementation process is so powerful. Now the next point to our lessons is going to be the framework of how much and when, and specifically we're talking about feel versus real. So let me kind of explain that. So when we're talking about feel, let's say you first start out trying to change your swing and you're initially just filming your golf swing. Well, you're going to be feeling like you have your normal golf swing. But then what's going to happen with the real is it's not going to be in the correct parameters, right? So it's not going to be normal. It's going to be somewhere towards the extremes. So a lot of you guys have this gap that you're dealing with, and you guys get afraid, and it's really frustrating at first. However, common sense tells us, even though there's a gap, that doesn't mean that we can still change and manipulate the real with our feelings. And let me explain how we do this. So we use the two tools of how much and when to start manipulating our current feelings, which then in turn actually changes the reality into the spot that we want it to be. To give you guys a real life example of this, let's talk about the hand position at position 5. Let's say that our hands want to be right around the right pick at position 5, but currently they're towards the left shoulder. So they're too far out towards the golf ball. So the first tool is called how much, and how much really is, well, how much more do I need to feel behind my body or in the opposite direction of what I'm currently doing? So I want you guys to put some type of number behind it. Either put a percentage of how much more it feels, or maybe put a degree if it's applicable. The main point here is you need to have a specific number that you can use as a reference point after the swing to see if my swing still didn't get to the correct spot. Well, now I know that this number gets this, maybe I'll do more of this number. So that's really important for the how much. So in the current example that we're talking about, when would be used as such? So when do I start moving towards that how much position, right? Which will be more behind me. When do I actually reach the full how much that we're trying to get to? And then last but not least, how long do I keep that how much feeling until I actually stop thinking about it and allow the hands to start moving out towards the golf ball? So to give you guys an example of how I would actually write this down on paper before I made a swing, this is exactly what I would write down. Well, how much? I'm going to try to do 100% more behind me than I'm typically doing. When I'm going to start to move towards that 100% right around the top of the swing. And then from there, I'm going to reach that 100% how much feeling right around position 5. And then I'm going to keep that how much all the way until my hands get right around the hip height. As you can see, I have very clear, precise how much and whens, to which if I go ahead and make a swing and the swing is not getting to me the correct checkpoint, I can then go through and take a look at the numbers that I established and the timings that I established and try to mess around with those until I can get to the correct position. So if you think about it, it's a really simple plug and drop equation that anyone can follow and anyone can get results. It's how much plus when feelings equals your reality. If you can understand that equation, if you can kind of mess around with the numbers, I guarantee any position that you're trying to change, you will be able to change. Now, the next point of our lesson gets into really the common mistakes we see a lot of clients make when they're actually practicing by themselves. Because the biggest issue when it comes to lessons is really what happens after the lesson. Any instructor can get great results in the lesson. That's really not that difficult to do. But the great instructors get their clients to still get those results after the lessons. And that's something that we focus very, very heavily on. So let me talk about some common mistakes you guys make in your practice. So the first mistake that you guys do is you don't use the framework of how much and when. Whenever you're trying to change, let's say, your hand position at position 5, you try to change it by introducing another motion to change this motion. So let me kind of explain what I mean. So let's say position 5, we're trying to get the hands at the right pack. Well, you think, well, if I just churn my body more in the backswing, That should make it easier to get my hands towards the right peck. And for some of you guys out there, that actually might make it easier. However, this in turn is your downfall. Because what happens is, yes, maybe turning your body more might make it easier. But then from there, next thing you know, it doesn't get you all the way there. So what do? Well, you have to add on another motion, right? Because that's the path that you chose to take. You chose to take the path where you have to continue to add on new motions to get the results. And what that does is it gets this compounding effect to where now you're working on 5, 7, 8 different motions, and you have so much going on in your brain that you can't even swing and hit the golf ball. So I strongly recommend, and this is something we talk to our clients all the time, never try to change a motion with another motion. Now, if you're a trained golf instructor and you know exactly what you're doing, then that can be a great approach to actually get great results when you're trying to change a type of motion. But for most of you guys out there, typically it leads to the latter example of where you get that negative compounding effect and you have all these swing motions. So I highly recommend stay within the framework of how much and when, and I guarantee for all of you guys out there, a lot of the time that's going to get you pretty much all the way to the results that you want to get. Now, the other mistake you guys make out there is you just don't film and check your golf swing. Now, I'm not talking about you never film. I'm talking about you typically film maybe once, twice every 10 golf balls, or maybe you film for one practice and then just don't film after that. So the main issue that I have with this is if we can understand that our feel does not equal the real, then why are we trying to measure success off of our feeling as opposed to literal visual real video camera analysis? That's something that you guys got to stop trying to do, and you need to be filming almost every single golf swing, especially if you're just starting out trying to change your swing. I guarantee you can't rely on feel. Now, once you have done this process many times and you've filmed your golf swing and you've analyzed it, from there I think you're gonna have a lot better understanding of what your feel is actually doing in reality. And then at that point it's okay to kind of minimize how much you film. But when you start out, you're not going to be able to do that for most of you guys out there. So you need to be filming almost every single golf swing. I would personally recommend film every single golf swing. Speaking of practice guide, this gets into kind of the last point of our lesson is we like to leave you with a very, very structured practice guide. That means for each section of our implementation process, each level of our implementation process, we leave you exact percentages of golf balls to allocate for each one of those. As well, for all the checkpoints that we gave you, we give you percentages of golf balls to hit for each one of those. We also tell you what clubs to be using, right? When to switch clubs, and then when to switch targets as well. We're very detailed with the structured practice plan, and it's something that if you guys aren't doing that type of detail with your practice, again, your mind is going to wander and you're not going to get the type of results that you want. So if you remember earlier in the video, the sponsor to this video was the Kiwi Coach 6-month program. And the reason why it's the sponsor for this particular video is because I know 99.9% of you out there watching this video are not going to take action, even if you want to take action on the steps I talked about in this video. So you're not going to get the results that you want. So if you want a coach, a real golf coach that will keep you on top of this practice plan, keep you looking at the checkpoints, keep you structured, then the Kiwi Coach 6-month program was designed for you. Go ahead and check out our website. We literally have step-by-step what we're going to be talking about in each of the 6 lessons that we'll be giving you, and you can see exactly what you're going to be getting, as well as you're going to see a lot of before and after results that you tend to get when clients sign up for the 6-month program. So go ahead and check that link down below because that is the sponsor for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, let me know. Leave some comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this style of video where I talk about kind of the golf swing or what we do in lessons and all that good stuff, let me know in the comments. I can definitely make more of these videos for you guys on YouTube. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share. Make sure to check out the Kiwi Coach 6-month program, and I'll see you guys in the next video.